going back to what Rob was saying, it's like really learning the way how you actually support a lot of us, in our channels. I mean, I can only imagine what your calendar is looking like. Like, hey, this person's going live, this person's going live. Or make sure I check up on this person on their weeklies because I'm like, I don't expect a lot of people to show up for my lives, especially another content creator, mostly because we busy creating content. So and I had to thank you for that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm always here to support you and whatever you do, and just want to congratulate you on your 3 years and keep going.
Thank you. Thank you. You make it easy with that, at least with the Thursday one. So I'm going to have to reprogram if you change to Tuesday or something like that. But yeah, that's why I try to, even if sometimes it doesn't fit my schedule the best, I figure so many people have gotten used to this. It's been probably 2 years now with this Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, as a definite time that you can catch me and interact live. So I try to stick to it because I think a lot of people, it's in their head now, and I don't want to have to change it up. Oh, it's going to be 6, 7, who knows what time she's coming on. So that helps a lot. What?
6, 7. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. I wasn't trying to make any jokes now, guys. All right. But let's talk about what my channel has, what the messages that I've tried to get through what I'm sharing in my own journey of investing and saving and just trying to maximize my money. And
you just got a super chat, by the way, from Trudy Speaks Up.
Oh, I can't.
$20 super chat, by the way.
Let me see. Oh, thank you. Let me see.
I'm reading it for you. So she says, congratulations, Lisa. KGU is how I discovered your channel and awesomeness. Much love.
Okay. Thank you so much, Trudy. I appreciate that. Goodness gracious. Of all days that I'm going to have this problem. I mean, I wouldn't want it any day, but yeah, I can't. Everything.
You have technical difficulties every time you invite me. What is that?
I do?
Yeah. Because last time, I forgot what happened last time.
No more Anthony on the show.
You were like, yeah, I didn't have my polls up. I couldn't get this ready. Like you didn't have everything up like last time.
Because when things are like that, they're supposed to be starred. It's not showing me anything in the studio today. Nothing's working. Nothing's working. Okay, I thought I was on the ball and had. All right, let's just stick to it. I hope that no one, it's just that the people are not going to realize that why I'm not responding and not saying anything. And Trudy, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so now talking about what I've tried to create here through this channel. I think I didn't in the beginning, I really didn't know what exactly. I knew that I wanted investing for everyone to realize that investing is for them. It's for them, their kids, their family. It's not for the rich or, someone more, whatever you look like, investing is for all of us. That's what I wanted people to know. And if, and different people in your households have to take it on. A lot of men are more involved with the finances and investing. But if you are a single household, or if you're in a household where that person, your significant other, is not interested, someone has to take it on. And I don't want anyone to be scared or intimidated or think that they can't do it. But another mission or message that I've really been, and I don't know what time frame, but later on into my 3 years of, getting questions and talking with different people, it's that they think, yeah, I'm working, I'm contributing to the 401k. But so many people that I've talked to, when I ask, what are you invested into? What is the performance? They don't know. What is your ultimate retirement goal of how much you want to have in your investment account when you reach a certain age? They don't know, and they're not making sure to work to be in line with a particular goal. I know you are, Anthony. You know what you want to have. You have a plan on how you're going to go about drawing from it in the future. But can you guys share a little bit about what I said about people just floating along saying, I work, I contribute, not sure what percentage they should be contributing because they're not setting a standard as to what they're trying to achieve and keeping on top of the performance to make sure they're not in underperforming investments.
Well, I think first and foremost, one of the mistakes I see is people, let's say you get a job and they offer a 401k. People don't even look into it. They accept what's there, the 3%, the year funds, the 2035 fund. I did the same thing. And when I say people, I'm one of those people. You get a 3%, that's the base. And then I started thinking about, and what I think people really don't think about is inflation is not going to stay at 3%. It's going to constantly increase. And what I started doing was, as I got bonuses or raises, I would increase my percentage, a minimum of 1 point. And I went from 3%, I think I jumped to 5%, and then I started doing it 6, 8, up to 10% of my gross pay going to my 401k. And then what Lisa was saying, as far as retirement, we tend to live for the moment. We don't live for tomorrow. We don't live for the future. And a lot of us, including myself, I didn't care about the future. I wanted to enjoy it now. Would I even make it to the future? Well, we can't have that mindset, because the worst thing you want is to I'm in the future right now. I'm talking about the 25-year-old Rod. Now I'm the 50-year-old Rod. Had I kept the same mindset, I would be in a world of hurt right now. I'm retired at 53, was in the Navy, I have a pension, but how many people my age don't have a pension? How many people younger than me are going to be given opportunity or afforded the opportunity to get a pension? So if we don't plan, no one's planning for us. And I think I've heard Lisa say that on several occasions. We have to do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. To piggyback that, I'm going to just speak from the government side or the public sector side. When it comes to the investments, a lot of people don't know where their investments are going. Depending on how long you've been in the government and how long you've been dealing, quote unquote, investing, thinking you're putting in the 5% that the government will match you at, and not knowing that there's an additional 1% that's also matched based on your income. So, and also your grade level. I'm sorry about that. And having that understanding, a lot of people are still in the G fund because they don't know where everything is at. And G is usually where the most conservative, very slow trending. It doesn't dip. It's constantly going up. And when I say dip, I mean, like, it's not a stark dip. It does dip from time to time, but overarching, it's the only one that's less volatile. One of the main things is that now that the government is realizing that, to kind of help people structure themselves into a better financial situation when they close to retirement, is actually putting them in one of the L funds, which is the life cycle funds. And so depending on when you start, and the cool thing about the life cycle funds, you investing in all of them. So it's the C, the S, I, where are they at? The C, the S as in Sam, I, and F as in Frank, and also the G fund. But when you do the life cycle funds, it's very small in G, but more in the percentage wise. It depends on which life cycle you choose. So having that understanding just from the public sector is one of the most important things you can really do. For the teachers that are out there, you really got to look at those the cost analysis for the actual product, because you might be able to get a 457 plan or a 403B outside of your employer that will have better returns than the one that you currently have. So just kind of be careful, especially as a teacher, on what are the percentages for the expense ratio for those investments.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what Anthony is sharing, with those classes of investments, that's specific to the government. But a lot of us, when we start working, in regular corporate America or something like that, we're just defaulted into that target date fund. And just like Anthony was describing how they're very conservative, and I feel like you're in your 30s and early 40s, very early on, and they're putting you in the fund that corresponds to when you're going to be around 65, and they're shifting into more conservative funds, getting more deeper into bonds and different things, and you're losing out on the performance. And this is not financial advice, but from my personal experience and those around me that have shared in detail and had me to look at certain investments along with them, we would have been better off being invested into the S&P 500 than to be in some of these funds that are very conservative. For our age, we need to be capturing the growth of what's gone on in the last few years of these big tech giants, as opposed to being in a conservative fund that gives you that blend. People often, they just put those words of stocks and bonds together, but the rate of return of these bond investments has been just so poor. It's been less than what we've been getting in our high yield savings accounts over the last few years. It wasn't that long ago that I was, at 5%. Now I'm about 3.5%. But during those time frames when we were getting 5% just for having our money in a savings account, even now, some of these bond funds are severely underperforming, and we have to think about it. And I don't want you to wait around and think about it when you're over 100,000, 200,000. It's going to take you longer to get there if you are not getting a handle of this as soon as possible. I want people to start off from day one and, positioning their money to grow at the best rate possible. And so much growth. And I've missed out on so much growth when it comes to my investments because of what I was invested into, just not having knowledge. And so I just want to make sure that this is something that I want to use my channel to share in order to make sure that we are investing, but not just investing with intention, with standards, with goals, in order to make our money really thrive. So anything else on this from you guys?
Yeah, I agree, Lisa. No, go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out Nora that's in the chat. We got Chocolate Drop 84 in there. Just wanted to say hey to everybody that's in there. Just join us.
Piggybacking you, Lisa, one of the mistakes I see people make is when it comes to investing, we go with the norm. And we are doing something. We're doing more than a lot of others. But when I say the norm, like Lisa was talking about bonds, I cashed out all my bonds probably early 2000s, and I moved it into other investments. And traditional investments, your 401k, your savings bonds, you need a 401k, you need a Roth IRA, but don't just go with what the employer put in there, because I was making, say, 7% interest return on my money with the what's that, Lisa, that year target fund, the target funds. Mm-hmm. It was the 2035 fund with Fidelity. I'll never forget. I switched it over to FXAIX, the Barron Growth Fund, and my money went up tremendously because I did the proper research. I didn't just go in there and pick some, close my eyes and pick some. But right now, and people, a lot of people don't believe it. And I have a live stream coming up, I don't know when, probably in the next day or two. Traditional is now, whether you want to believe it or not, it's going to be crypto, high yield savings accounts. It's not going to be just go to Chase and get an account. Where are the high yield savings accounts? You have to watch Elisa J stocks. You have to watch About That Wallet. You have to watch an Investing with Rod to stay up, because they're not really making this broad news. They are, but people aren't really paying attention. That's my opinion. So,
yeah. I don't know. I think that education is one of the things that, granted, we go to work, but we're not really taking full advantage of our jobs, and really maximizing the perks beyond the dollars that they give us. And one of those things is that I could say I'm speaking from both sides here, but at least from the public sector, I know that there's a whole financial department that will sit down and help you either budget, talk about investments, at least kind of educate you on even how to look at stocks, how to invest in stocks as well. They can't tell you what to invest in, but they can at least educate you on that process. And having that understanding for taking advantage of your work, then you also can look into far as in the private sector, a lot of the times they might have therapy in there, but sometimes under the therapy catalog can be financial therapy. And because of the things that you're going through, finances will actually impact the way how we actually operate from day to day. And if we're not being careful, that can easily kind of cause us a lot of stress and pain and actually impact our work performance. So try to look beyond the dollar of what the job is offering you, even when you're looking to join a new job. And a lot of people are unemployed. Several million people are unemployed right now just this year because of the way how things are going. And also the impacts of AI. So it's just kind of like, how can we educate the people at a low cost as much as possible? And I think YouTube is the best place to kind of meet people where they are.
It's definitely the best. I mean, you don't have to leave your house. You don't have to spend any gas. You don't have, all you need is Wi-Fi and a mobile and some type of device. And you have Google University and YouTube State College. No tuition, no federal loans. And you can just sit there and get all the information you want. I guarantee you, you can spend 2 days watching Lisa J. Stocks videos and you have taken a semester college class. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
Easy.
So speaking about the layoffs, yeah, we've definitely seen that layoffs are at the highest level since the pandemic. And, you know, that is really disturbing to think about when we could not leave the house at all, when everything was shut down, when so many things had to get figured out as far as, you know, our medical appointments and all of those type of things. So but for now we're seeing, you know, companies laying off 10, 15,000 people in one shot. And it's not all, and it's different levels of the staff that's being impacted. It's not all of the, you know, warehouse type of, or, you know, not one category of people that are being impacted. It's just really disturbing. And I wonder, you know, we want technological advancements, but I just want people to realize that we, more than ever, we need to prioritize investing and not sitting on the sidelines, because AI and all these things, all these different advancements are taking over, and we can't just think there's barely anything for us to be just a consumer of the things. When our finances are being so heavily impacted, we have to make sure that we are an investor and not just a consumer in order to make sure that we're striving to get ahead. And it's really hard. It's really hard. It used to be, you know, people are most likely going to be forced. I've been seeing a few things about this. This is something else we might be able to react on, is people basically being forced into early retirement because they cannot find, because once they get laid off at a you know, later in life, they're then not able to find another role, just because of the situation right now. Have you guys seen anything like that in any news or anything that you've come across lately?
I had a friend that went through that, and what he experienced is he was over 50. He was laid off from a major company, and he was quote unquote too old to keep up with technology, and his salary level far exceeded a new college graduate, a person that they leave with a quicker mind. And to me, that was an excuse. We're gonna get a fresh inventory and a fresh person, pay them who knows, half or a third of the money, and we're gonna be right where we are. We may lose a little knowledge, but we can get this young man or lady up to speed pretty quick. But my opinion, as I put this movie of life together, as I put chapter by chapter together, going back to the pandemic, I believe it was setting the stage for where we are right now. and I'm not going to get deep in it because I'm probably going to get deeper on my channel. It was setting the stage for where we are right now. All the people, all the workers, not the essential workers, but the regular workers were at home. Then when everything got back to normal, AI, which was already there, started sliding in the picture. When the pandemic was going on, in my opinion, how can this country operate with less workforce, less stuff out in reality, and more stuff happen through a technology standpoint? I was at a gas station and I was talking to another content creator, and there was a robot doing the floor. And all I thought was, okay, how much does this thing cost? And I'm thinking, okay, replace one employee. No, this robot could go 24 hours a day. And it was just mopping the floor. That's 3 to 6 shifts at a gas station, 3 full-time, 4 part-time shifts. We just wiped out the cost of getting them hired. We just wiped out any insurance, any layoff money we may have to pay. We just wiped out any calling in sick. I can't make it. I need off. I quit. We just wiped a whole, not one person, this one little robot in reality probably got rid of it, replaced 2 or 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what Lisa's saying, and I agree, people, we've had the luxury of, I don't want that job. It doesn't pay enough. I don't want that job. I don't want to do that type of work. It's going to be in a minute, if you're not invested and ready, if you're not ready for the finale of this motion picture they got going on, you're going to be taking jobs that you never thought you would be doing. I could be taking jobs that I never thought I would be doing. That's why right now I'm listening to not just Rod and what I think, but I'm listening to Lisa, I'm listening to everybody out there. Then I'm formulating my own strategy. Yeah. That's what I mean. I think the writing's been on the wall.
I think one of the things that happened that kind of pushed this out was this is the reason why social media is kind of bad and good at the same time. Yes, social media is great to kind of disseminate information quickly, but also it disseminates information quickly, good or bad. And one of the things that came out during that time frame was the quiet quitting. Remember how people say, "Oh, I don't get paid to do that. I'm gonna just do my job." Okay, bet. And a lot of people was quiet quitting, and then when they wound up getting fired, they tried to find another job and couldn't find one because they weren't backfilling those positions. And during that time frame, that was when I think shortly after COVID finished. Well, I think we still on, but whatever. During that time frame, it gave rise to the hospitality industry, and so hospitality got hit the hardest first because nobody was moving around, and then also trying to get jobs to kind of fill those positions. A lot of people didn't want to get sick or risk getting sick, so they hired machines to kind of clean the whole bathroom. There's another one that actually would do all the vacuuming. There's you can go inside hotels now. You don't even have to talk to the receptionist. There's a whole panel, just like how it is at McDonald's, to check in. It's getting to the point where all those people that were quiet quitting in the I guess you could say in that particular sector, to now it's starting to hit some of those soft skills, where it's actually the white collar jobs now are getting impacted. It's still going to take a while before even the blue collar jobs, but I think for right now, we're just moving into we're going to wind up seeing a whole set of people called the useless class. And the fact of the matter is that they either don't want to take the jobs or don't want to learn anything. And then it might force us to even start utilizing universal basic income. So talking about the future here, but I mean, it's kind of the way how we talk about investing. What are we investing in now that can kind of help us improve our lives or actually stay above what we want to do? Because ultimately, if you think about it, if we have enough money in the stock market, you don't have to work. I mean, all of us wouldn't mind just sitting around having our own universal income based on the money we put in. So, going back to the end of Lisa, that you mentioned before, it's what are we really investing for at the end of the day? Mm-hmm. And I just want to challenge everybody to kind of think about that.
Yes. So we all have our different takes on it, but I have a teenage daughter, and I don't even know really, obviously there's, like you were saying about different blue collar, white collar. Obviously they're saying that, electricians, plumbers, there's certain areas that are not being as heavily impacted by all of this technology yet. But I don't even know where to really encourage her to focus on as far as her higher education and having longevity and being able to work. But I'm definitely trying to instill in her that you need to invest as soon as possible and as much as possible, because we have to find a way to, build wealth for ourselves, to take care of ourselves, and not think that working is gonna, like others were able to do, that, decade after decade, you're gonna be able to find a job and sustain working and building up your investments, because things, whether it seems like, obviously we all know that something could happen to you, medical or something like that, where you're unable to work, but not being able to work because you're just keep on getting laid off. And now you're in that age place, you're in that stage where you're getting that ageism and not able to find a job because of that. I was watching someone and she was saying, she puts in her resume, she tries to find a job and she's trying to hide her age. But once you get there and they see you, obviously there's not supposed to be these type of discriminations based on anything related to, your age, your gender, your anything. But there is, when you're in front of a human being and, they take all the different factors. Just because someone is younger, it could impact you significantly and leave you in a place where you're no longer able to work. And so it's not easy. And I don't want any of us to be in this place. I've been laid off multiple times and I know the struggle. I do. And so I also know that, reflecting back, not just over the last 3 years, but over the last, 20 years, I wish that I had focused more on investing and making my life more, prioritizing investing as early as possible, because we didn't know what the future was going to hold. And now that I'm seeing it, I wish even more so. And people just getting started off, they need to realize, they see, I'm sure, how hard it is. It's going to be harder than ever for them. But I just want to make sure that the message is out there to just stick with your investing and make a plan on what your standards are and just really push through. So.
Hey, Lisa, are you able to pull up Fast City's comment? I don't know if it's on I can read it. I mean,
I'm not able to pull up any comments because they're not in the studio.
Okay, he said the problem is that sweeping robot is never going to spend money at 7-Eleven on a Slurpee or put money on a credit card. That's a good point.
That's a good one.
I want to address that, but Fast City, the first thing I'll say is technology is already, if you go into McDonald's, the force has been reduced tremendously. You'll have kiosks everywhere. You don't see as many humans. And if you look at unemployment, it's going up and spending is going up. Just because people are being replaced by automation, people are still spending money.
Consumers.
Credit card spending is at an all-time high. I have a whole channel about credit cards. So I think where that sweeping robot is not going to spend money some kind of way, and I don't know how. I don't have the answer, Fast City. Americans are still finding a way to spend money somehow, and it's probably money they're going to wish, like Lisa's saying, that I wish I would have invested way more back when I had it, but I thought I was doing enough, and I was doing good, but I could have did better. I could have did more, and now I'm in this period of uncertainty where they're laying everybody off for any kind of reason. I wish I would have. And I'm just trying to get people, don't be like Rod. Don't be in that wish I would have state 10 years down the road. Start now.
All right. I'm gonna add on because since Rod and I can see comments. So we got you, Lisa. It's what we do, teamwork. We got Trudy.
Okay.
Yeah, Trudy says that we're cutting 5%, which is millions, and many employees ingest to start of the cuts. yes, early retirement is another way, but this is a statewide cut for state government. And I have to say that on top of that, with those cuts of 5%, like Rod, you mentioned it earlier, as far as like, hey, we lose out on that little bit of education, but we coming in, and the government is working just like the private sector. Whether they can get somebody cheaper to get it done, they will hire somebody cheaper to get it done. So, and I can totally agree with that. But I wanted to bring on just to kind of think, because it seemed like we bring up a lot of things, but I also want to bring a little bit of solutions. So if some of you are out there looking like, well, with all these AI changes, what can I do? There's a lot of free courses that are out there. And one of them is Google is actually helping you out with AI prompting to create effective prompts. Because even though AI is here, you still need somebody to actually learn the system and prompt it properly so that you can get the answers quickly. And that's ultimately the way to kind of streamline a lot of the processes. Yes, you might be part of the process of forcing people to lose their jobs. However, you can also be the solution on how to help people, because now that you understand it, how to help them also learn how to keep their jobs and how to utilize AI in their respective way. So it's going to cost us to do more work for less time, for the same amount of time that we're doing. I mean, think about it, like driving. Before, back in the day, you had to get out the crank, start the car just to kind of go. Now we can get in and press a button. So it's causing us a lot. We can do a lot more in less time. And that's ultimately what it's taking us to go to. And so really figuring out how AI is going to be utilized in your everyday, I think it can be the best weapon that you have for you, no matter what age. Because even if you're at 50, say like how he was like, oh man, like, just getting old, just not keeping up with it. Keep your mouth shut about what you can't keep up with. Just kind of figure out a way to like, hey, I'm working on this at home. This is how I'm utilizing on my day to day. Talk about how you're utilizing it, not saying that, hey, I can't keep up. Because as soon as you hear that I can't, or I can't do this, I can't do that, they will find somebody who will and will fire you quickly. I mean, I had to let a couple contractors go because of that. So it's part of the job.
Mhm.
Yeah, but don't be complaining. I mean, while you have a job, don't be at work complaining until you have a solution of where you're going next. Because people, I was a sales director, and every little negative thing I heard, I listened, because what I didn't want it to bleed over to the positive people that I had. I didn't want a whole team of negative people. So, and I like what Anthony said, the solutions, man. I just think we need to just, what Lisa been saying, preparation. We can wait, but AI is moving quicker than they can put the information out to tell us about it. It's moving fast, and it's going to be, I don't even want to think about it. I'll be real. I just want to wait for it to happen. I don't even want to think about the outcome of AI and what it's going to do to this country. So. But
Yeah,
man,
it's
we're
scary.
supposed to be celebrating, Lisa. I feel like I'm at I'm about to go put a black suit on, man.
Hey, but we working.
We got too deep. We got too deep with the conversation.
Man, I'm supposed to be here celebrating one of the
Okay. Well,
baddest
we're
content creators on YouTube, one of the hardest working content creators.
Yeah.
Look, we got some antlers. What we got? We gonna play
I
some
ain't
music.
got this is the hat I got. It said for
We're
Rob
gonna start partying now. Okay. No, I did want to say I like what you guys are saying about you can't say that you can't. I don't know, and this and yeah. I really have myself programmed when I am having those type of conversations. I always make sure to spin it and say, well, no, I'm not familiar with, say, for example, I'm familiar with both of these, but no, I've never used Oracle, but I'm proficient in JD Edwards, and I'm sure that they are both similar. And I've been at companies and had to transition between different, you never say, I don't know, I don't do that. If you don't know, you're going to figure it out. And, it's funny. I had one job interview, and going by the description, I wound up having to do, it was called the tax equalization process, and it was so complicated. But in my interview, I used the example of, say you live in New Jersey and you work in New York what I had to do in the actual job was so much more than that. It's like, say you work in the situation in real life turned out to be, say you work in New York, Chicago, and Atlanta, but your home country is, somewhere in the Middle East.
Oh, wow.
But I gave such a simple example, but at least it showed them that I had conceptual, understanding, and I had done some research, and I was going to, I didn't have every last, I couldn't hit every last point when it came to the job description, but I had an understanding, and I was going to try to tie any knowledge that I had into trying to get that job. And I did get the job, but
if I can get one more bit of advice, Lisa, for anybody out there that's with your job and you're concerned, I would tell you, lay low and play slow. And I'm gonna break that down for you. Right now, we're at a pivotal point where if you complain, they may let you go. If you know too much, they may let you go. So just lay low, just chill. And at the same time, be observant, but be the one that's always learning. Don't always, I'm gonna tell you, man, and this wasn't a job. I remember taking a college course, and I had just taken a public speaking class or something in the Navy. I went to college and I jumped up there and I did all this stuff. And the professor immediately took one letter grade off that assignment because I knew too much. And she thought it may affect the class. And that's how employers may be. So just lay low and play slow. And education. I'm not talking about going sign up for college and all that. If you want to get motivated, if you run around, I can't invest, I don't have enough money. I guarantee you can go to Lisa J. Stocks channel, and it's going to be this big old $10. And then it's going to be where it ended up or where it is now. If that don't motivate you, you don't want to be motivated.
Yeah. So Lisa, can you play that money clip saying thank you for your
Why? Did I get another super chat that I
got
missed?
another super chat?
How you getting super chats on the channel? You ain't even got no comment.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Thank y'all for the super chat. Show Lisa some.
Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, it was from a brother of Acer.
A brother of a certain age?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can't see that. It must be on the regular. I'm on the vertical. I don't see it.
Regular.
Okay. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you for the reminder, Anthony.
You're welcome.
Yeah, technical difficulties today, guys, but I appreciate you. I started off the show saying, thank you for being here, supporting the channel, helping me grow over these last 3 years, helping me to get to my first 7,000 subscribers and 500,000 views here on YouTube. I'm going to keep on going, but, I just like to take this time to highlight, those anniversaries and just let you guys know that I want to continue to share my journey and support you guys on yours and give you encouragement, share the good, the bad, and the ugly, be here to help you not be scared on those red days, and share content that can keep us all knowledgeable and feeling confident when it comes to our strategies and plans for investing, because I don't want anyone to be intimidated by investing. I want us to know that it's for all of us. And I just want us to keep moving forward and create a lifestyle, that we can be comfortable with in our old age, when retirement is imposed upon us, however it may come about. So guys, thank you so much for coming up and chatting with me. So anything else you want to share about? I love how Anthony's message of the same message that I wish I knew when I was younger, of retirement is not an age, it's an amount. And just making strides for that. I want people around us to know that we have to put in the work, but it's possible to not be out here in our 70s and 80s worrying about money. I know it's harder than ever, but just let's put the effort in. And when we're working, don't work with a goal and be able to make a life for ourselves where we're taking care of our older selves and just being able to not have the worries and struggles that so many do. So
Yeah. Did you want me to read some of these questions in the chat?
sure. Let's do
We got
that.
time for
And
it, or you?
yeah, we have time. And guys, if you guys could share, how did you discover my channel? What is your favorite content or anything that you've learned from my journey and being a part of this community? I would love to see that.
All right. So Trudy mentioned earlier, she said that she had to pull over while driving. So she said the challenge is to reset your mind while struggling. I'm reaching people by encouraging invest $1. Oh, I guess she encouraging them to at least invest $1, focusing on creating habits, no matter how small. So Lisa, you say this a lot as well, which is to kind of get people to just start. Even with the $5. Like I started, I think for the past month or two, since I was on your last live, was starting to put $5 in every Friday, just to kind of see what it does. And this is for using Charles Schwab's S&P 500 version, just because of your show. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Okay. And guys, I do encourage you to do those small amounts, start where you're at, but also, do prioritize using your employer investment account, whatever it is, 403b, 401k. And if that's not built in for you, get in touch with a big broker. I happen to use Fidelity, and set up a Roth IRA for yourself. You're able to max that out, move on to, having a taxable brokerage account for yourself. Build up your investments. There's so many Americans that are working in fields where it's not built in for them. And so don't let that be your reason of, when I get a job that has that, then I'll do it. Don't let time pass by when you should be and could be investing. And just because it's not that extra simple for you, that it just comes out of your paycheck, we have to create that for ourselves. So, and I brought that up because, yes, I do share a lot about, I'm investing $50 today or $10 or whatever. But when, what comes out of my paycheck is what builds some of those more substantial investments that I also share here on the channel. When I'm sharing this portfolio that was from, one of my previous jobs, I recently shared a couple weeks ago that portfolio had gotten to $100,000. And so those amounts were built off of me contributing, say, 10% to 15% between what I was putting and what my, company match was into my 401k. So we have to, I'm doing a mix of both. I built up those more substantial accounts from those larger, consistent investments through my employer. But I got to a place in life where I said, okay, well, I can invest on my own. That's when I started the taxable accounts. My daughter, her money needs to be working too. So she can get a UTMA account. She can get a Fidelity Youth account. And so don't think that that's all the investing that I do is just those small amounts. But I'm not against $1 investing, $5 investing. I just do it all. I do a mix of it all. So.
A good point, Lisa. And for anybody that's in the military, I know one mistake I made, and I know it's a small percentage, but if it could just help someone, if you plan on retiring and you're going to get a retirement, they have a TSP. They created it right when I got ready, probably about 5 years before I retired. And my mindset was, why do I need to invest in TSP when I'm going to have a retirement? That was one of the biggest mistakes I could have made, because I had enough money to throw something into the TSP and get a retirement, and I would have been twice as set. But a lot of time we think, well, I'm doing this and that's enough, and we settle for the bare minimum, and piggybacking Lisa, you may start with $1 or $5, but how can I increase that? How can I use my employer? How can I use my employer contribution? How can I take 50% of my bonus and go get something nice at 50% and invest? the more you start seeing your account grow, it's going to grow quicker with larger deposits. It is will with $5 and $1. You'll more than likely get discouraged if you only do $1 and $5. But when you see them really growing and start turning up 5 figures and 6 figures, and you'll feel a lot different. It'll become fun. Trust me. So
yes, and guys, if you're not familiar with small investments, dollar cost averaging, it's not a joke. Some people think it's a joke talking about $5, $10, but like I say, take that amount and then divide it by 52, and then divide that by 5, and build up something that gives you that vision of where you're at. Then put that amount in the investment calculator, because it's not just what you contribute, it's that interest that you're going to be gaining. And then you can really see for yourself what this small amount is going to add up to after 5, 10, 20 years. And, depending on your age, when I say long-term investing and you're only 25 years old, I'm talking about 40. Some investments are staying in place potentially until you are 65 or 70 years old. That's what I want for us. So I think we just need to definitely have a clear vision of trading and investing. And I'm okay with that too. But I don't believe that anyone should be 100% trader and not prioritizing on the long-term investments. So
I try to look at trading like fitness almost, because it's like you said, even if that 1%, like I try to do at least maybe 10 push-ups a day, a minimum of 10 push-ups a day, even though my goal is to do 150 a day, but at least I did 10, not completely giving it up, because that compound of, that muscle gain, you do feel it when you're trying to pick it back up again. And think about it the same way when you're trying to invest in your money. You put in that $1, and it was like, man, I usually put in like $50. Now I'm only putting in $1. It's like, man, it doesn't feel the same. But then you don't put nothing in for more than 50 days. If you put $1 in, you at least had that 150 in there. You know what I'm saying? So try to look at it that way. That's why I try to look at stocks and fitness kind of go hand in hand.
And if you stop, I mean, I've heard that it takes 21 days to stop a habit. Mm-hmm. That's like one pay period. If you get paid every 2 weeks, one pay period and a half. You skip one pay period, that may be all it takes to just say, I'll pick up next year. I'll pick up when I get a raise. I'll pick up when the kids graduate. And before you know it, you haven't picked up. So just try to stay consistent, even if it's a small amount, just try to stay consistent. Yeah. So
cool. So what's you going? So Lisa, now that you hit 3 years, I mean, what's in store for next year? I don't want to go too far in the future for you, but what's in store next year? What do you want to hope to accomplish?
More of the same, but just actually talking today and just thinking about what maybe I need to come up with a new mission statement, and just make sure that even if it's quarterly, just making sure to touch on all of the different themes that I want to that I seem to have a new passion for, and making sure that I'm keeping people updated on making sure to keep these things in mind. Just like we're touching on so many people being laid off, I've been trying to incorporate a lot of the topic of getting a handle of your 401ks from those previous jobs, because whether it's your personal preference, which a lot of certain gen whatever they like to change jobs every 2-3 years. It's if they're able to go on to something, but also sometimes you're just impacted and forced to transition into something else. But with each one of those changes, you're left with the 401k from that job. And I want people to be mindful of that, get a handle of it, bringing the kids along with us on this investing journey and teaching them. So it's just going to be, I don't think there's going to be anything new, but I think lately I've really been seeing what the things are that I think are really would be most impactful for me to continue to really have a concentration on. And I don't want people to, I want to make things like you guys are saying. I try to make it just clear and nothing fancy and just plain, so that everyone can know that it's not hard and they can keep up with what I'm trying to share through my channel. And if I can do it, it truly is not hard, because if I can get through managing to figure things out. And yeah, I think that some people are just not putting the effort, and I can't do it all for you. Just like Rod always says, I can't invest the money for you, but listen, please just listen and just get some insights here and move forward on your own. But sometimes you have to make some phone calls. You have to not have fear of, you're going to have to link a bank account. You're going to have to, share certain information. We are setting up accounts. We are being shareholders here. So I just want people to know, just find reputable companies to associate yourself with and get on this journey. And, if you want to be super conservative, there are conservative ETFs and funds out there that can fit your needs. I don't want you going into the bond funds, the BND or anything like that. I don't want you to be that conservative, but I don't want you to be afraid of investing and just, and there is something that is the right fit for all of us, because I want us to all be on this investing journey and not scared of it. And obviously, if you know that something is coming up, that you're going to be buying a house, or, your child is going to be going to school or something soon, then yeah, you might have to make adjustments to be in line with when that date is, because there could be a significant pullback when it comes to the stock market. I don't want to hear you're 70 and, so aggressively into the quantum stocks and crypto and stuff like that. It might not be the time of life to be doing that. But, while we're young enough, while we're working, take advantage of the potential growth, and then down the road, shift to something more conservative. But just different themes. And I just want to continue just sharing more and more of the same, and hopefully getting more comments from the viewers in order to see, what resonates with them and what different things that they want us to figure out together, because I want us to be on this journey together. So what are you nodding over your head for over there, Rod?
No, because you're saying a lot of good stuff, and especially from the viewers, because we're putting this out for the viewers. And if we know some of the obstacles that you're facing, we can research if we don't know. And if we know, we can throw together a video or do a live. And it helps, because it may be something that I'm not thinking about, or Lisa's not thinking about, or Anthony's not thinking about. And case in point, there are a lot of people out there that when you ask them, do they have an investment? The first thing they'll say is 401k. They don't say emergency savings. They won't say a brokerage account. They'll say, I have a 401k. And one of the things you don't want to happen is to learn on the fly. And I learned a lot in life on the fly. But let's say if you have a 401k, if you're not 59 and a half, and that's your emergency fund. And this has happened to me. When you say you need $10,000 out of your 401k, you're not going to get 10. You look at a 10% penalty because you're not 59 and a half, plus 20% going to the RS off the top. So that's 30% of this 10,000. So now you're down to 7,000. And I'm telling you, this is with Fidelity. Any of them, you're down to 7,000, and that's the end of the. Now they will give you an option to pay the IRS later, but that 10% is happening. So these are the things that I learned on the fly. But now you're hearing it right here. Just tune into a live stream. You're hearing it on Lisa's daily videos. You're hearing it on About That Wallets channel. So just tap in and if you ever want to believe the cliche, knowledge is power. When it comes to finances, knowledge is power.
Okay. So Rod, you brought up the topic, and I think this is a great topic for us to do as our last segment for today. And I think you both might have been in my chat a couple of weeks ago when someone was saying about taking money from the 401k for a house down payment. Do you recall this? Mm-hmm. Okay. This is something I did want to talk about today. And the issue or the thing that I'm picking up from some people's comments sometimes, and I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but our investment account, so my retirement account is my retirement account. My taxable account, there's flexibility there. It might be my next car. I can tap into it if I have a issue today and I want to take profit on some of my stocks, I can. Okay, my daughter's accounts, those are to give her a head start. My life insurance, obviously, we know what that is for. My savings, my cash savings, or my money I have in a CD or a money market account, all of these are different accounts with different functions. And I think that some people, the only amount of money that they've ever built up is that 401k. And then they're looking at the 401k to fix the furnace, to if I pass my spouse, I have that. It's like the one investment account is doing too many jobs. What do you think of the way that I'm painting this, guys?
You painted a perfect picture. And that's a Picasso portrait. I mean, I was in that picture. I was the person, so I can speak on it. Or not even a 401k. When I was in the military and I didn't have a 401k, I had a brokerage account. It was the go-to account. But now I wouldn't even do Lisa. I can't even list all the different accounts that I have for various things. I have an investment account that's strictly for emergencies. I have a retirement account that's for when I for real quit working. I mean, I'm retired now, but I'm still doing YouTube and getting revenue. But we need to have diversification. Know where my money is in Ally for this. It's not to willy-nilly want to go on a cruise or go over here. Know where your money is, know where it is and what it's allocated for, and stick to that. But the 401k being it's just like if you have one vehicle and that vehicle doesn't start and you have to be at work, your options they were diminished. Mm-hmm. If you have a vehicle, then you can call Uber, you can catch the bus, you can catch the train. The same thing with money. Think of it, just put it in a simple form.
And I hope that I came across, I think what I just said here is more clear of what I was trying to convey that day. And obviously home ownership, I think, is a great thing. I was very proud of myself when I first became a home owner. But, if that is your goal and in a few years you're going to want to buy a home, then establish an account today that is for that. Don't think, that my 401k is building up. You're just cheating your future self, robbing yourself of investments that could build and grow. And we're supposed to be gaining that compound interest decade after decade. But now here you go, like Rod is saying, you need $10,000. You're going and cheating your own self by using your investments. Keep your investments invested for the intention that they were, you started out with the goal for them for. And that's all I'm trying to paint a picture of. And I think this happens so much because, like I said, that your retirement account, for many people, that's the most substantial amount of money that you're ever seeing, with your name on it. And so then you get visions of, I need to renovate this, repair the roof, do this, that, and the other. And that was never the intention for it. And so let's make sure to build additional accounts, do estate planning, life insurance, all the things that I touched on, which I am no expert in all of these different things, but I know that I have, everything clearly defined, and it's not all about, going to my retirement accounts to save me from all of the other things that come up in life. So,
and you know what, Lisa, people, if you could create your own retirement account, make believe it's retirement. Go get a Fidelity account or whatever and say it's your retirement account. The reason that people depend on 401ks is they're not having to put the money there themselves. It's recurring. It's coming out automatically from the employer. You can do the same thing with Fidelity. You go to recurring, put it whatever you amount, you never see, you never know it's gone. And before you know it, you look at Fidelity, you have your roof money, you go to the ball game money, to go on a cruise money, and you never touch your retirement. But if you're gonna do that, why not have a high yield savings account where you're not even thinking of touching your investments? If you don't have, because once you touch one investment, it can become a domino effect. You will start touching them all. So.
What are your thoughts, Anthony?
Oh, sorry, I did.
Anything on this? If you don't,
Yeah, I do. When it comes to your housing, you gotta it goes back to what are you investing for? So say because right now, the way how it stands, you can borrow up to about 50% of your 401k. So if you have, maybe $500,000, 500,000 in there, and you found a property that you really like, and you try to go the traditional route, which is a 3.5% down for the property and so forth, but the property only costs $250,000. You're like, well, I can either do one or two things. You can either borrow against your 401k, which then you paying yourself back, which is a loan upon itself. You can do that. You can either go the traditional route, get a traditional loan, because loans aren't considered income, but you are borrowing against yourself. And if you do a 401k loan, you also run the risk because you're actually taking the money out of the account. So you're not borrowing against your 401k. Some of the banks will allow you to borrow, like say, hey, you have this amount available. They will match up if you use that as collateral. So there's different strategies to use your 401k if you want to use it as leverage, or you want to tap into it. And that's one of the kind of things those are one of the options I just want to throw out there. So
yeah, but a lot of people are not strategic. Like even Trump talking about these 50-year home loans, or to someone that is a true entrepreneur that would know how to navigate that. They can get in there. They're not going to let it linger for 50 years. But someone who would be able to capitalize on a small payment now, they know that they're coming into some money, in 5 years or whatever time frame, be able to clear it up. They can use something like that strategically. But I think that most people are, regular. They're not going to use it in the most, in a way that is advantage, for their long-term future. They're probably most likely going to dig themselves into a hole. And I'm not saying that that's everyone, but a lot of people. So that's why I'm trying to give the encouragement of most likely under most people, like I said, we're just regular people. We're the retail investors, regular people. They don't know how to navigate it. They're not that experienced. They're not planning. And then, life happens. And then you can be doing something that, is going to impact you for the rest of your life.
Then it goes to the notion of, do you buy a car? Say you have $10,000 in the bank account right now. You have a car that's worth $10,000. Do you go use your whole $10,000 to go buy that vehicle? And it's kind of one of those same things. It's like, we all know that with vehicles, once you pay this vehicle off, you still got gas, you still got maintenance, you still have all the things on top of it. So think about it that way. Are you going to utilize it? I guess I'm going back to strategies again. Sorry about that, Lisa. It's just
I can understand, and I do, on a smaller scale, but yeah, sometimes I do things with the strategy but I have a real detailed plan as to how I'm going to go about this. And I want to make sure that someone is not hearing this and doesn't truly have an in-depth strategy on how to navigate something and think it's just that easy.
I agree, Lisa, because most people that's watching us, they're just trying to get started. My strategy is beyond complex.
Yeah. So I know that, sometimes medical bills, like you're saying, taking a loan, a lot of the comments that I've heard and the stories that I've heard, it wasn't that they were taking a loan, that they were just taking the penalty, just facing the penalties, taking the money and it not getting replaced. And that's that. So That is more of what I'm trying to share. There is the scenario that you're saying, but I want to make sure that it's a clear message to those that are maybe not going about it in the best way of making sure that they pay themselves back, that they're being strategic in what they're going about. So
I guess if they want to use it that route, I'm thinking the Roth. If they want to do anything, I think the Roth will probably be like the second best. I mean, if you want to do it, because it's already been taxed up front, and now you just kind of dipping back into it. It grew some, you can take it, but also talk to your tax professional, just educational purposes only. That's a reminder, disclaimer. So
I'm gonna have to get out of here too, Lisa. Congratulations on 3 years. Good seeing you, Anthony, but keep doing what you're doing. That's all I can say. I'm learning from you, and I know a lot of people are learning from you. A lot.
Thank you so much for stopping in and being one of my co-hosts today. I appreciate you, Rod, and I will talk to you soon.
I'm just running on my channel. It's set up somehow, so it'll end when you end. So
okay.
Thank you for everything you do. Thank you.
All right, bye. Okay, so I'm ready to wrap it up too. Thank you also to you, Anthony, for joining me today to celebrate and just highlight the different messages that I want to continue to get across through what I'm sharing here on YouTube. And anything else that you want to share for today?
No, I just want to say everybody continue. Lisa, you're doing amazing work. Congrats on your 3 years. And I cannot, not be here. Like, if there's anything you need, I'm always here for you as much as I can. And with my power to be, I'll do what I can for you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your support, and I will talk to you soon also. And guys, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next Sunday.
Right.